This is crazy. It is amazing that we're living in this generation right now. It's just amazing. I mean, they are actively trying to open a portal. They built their machine on the mythical opening of the portal. You know what I mean? Like, just there's too many.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a science experiment. Well, if it's just a science experiment, why are these guys constantly putting out esoteric symbolism, the dance, the symmetry, all this stuff? It's insane. It's right in your face, and people just won't hear it. And I feel bad for them, but what can you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can only hope and pray that there are some that you can reach. But yeah, the majority of the population, unfortunately, have been victims of deception. They've been, victims of the psychological operations that are going on. And we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, I do feel for people. And even the people working at CERN, I have no ill will towards them. They're humans just like the rest of us. But they believe the age-old lie from Lucifer that ye shall be as gods.
Right.
These guys believe they're going to defeat death. They believe that they are going to achieve immortality besides opening the portal. I hope that people will realize that the work being done at CERN is multifaceted, multi-layered. It's not just the portal. This goes to DNA research. It goes to spiritual incantations and rituals that you mentioned. You cannot separate the physical from the spiritual. They are connected. In fact, they are one and the same, physical and spiritual. When I talk about demonic entities coming through a portal, it's both spiritual and physical in form that it's coming through. But let's get back to what you said about the location. CERN is purposely built on the ancient Roman and Greek temple site where worship of Apollo, Apollyon, and Abaddon took place in the ancient times. This is the god, their demigod, that is known as the Destroyer. They have the statue of Shiva, the Hindu god, standing outside their headquarters. That is also a god of destruction. Now, here's some new information for you. My good friend Chris and Tim, two of my close associates that we do a lot of research together, they run End Times Matrix News. I presented to them the number 4096 because I looked to research on the quantum computers. And I mathematically projected what their next model number would be. And it's even beyond an intermediate step to 4096. The reason that I presented that to them was that I suspected that this had something to do with cryptological coding, because the computer, the adiabatic quantum computer, was initially developed in order to crack all secret coding languages, what's known as RSA coding, around the planet. They have been successful with that, with the first model, the 128 model. Every other government's secret communications is now being read by our intelligence agencies using these computers. Now, NSA owns these, Lockheed Martin, Google, all of the intelligence agencies, including Google, are using D-Wave's computers. And there's various models. It's all on my website. The point is, 4096 is a code. It's an algorithm, just like Shor 2048, which is what they needed to crack with their first computer, crack that algorithm. It means finding all the prime numbers in order to understand what key, what pattern was used to encode secret information and then decode it. The same process of decoding relates to the algorithm 4096. And once they are able to crack that code using their quantum computer, they will then understand how to open the bottomless pit. So it takes the large machine to do this because of the power that's needed, the collider, but it also requires the ability of the quantum computer to communicate real time with the other side, to coordinate this. So in Scripture, it talks about the key to the bottomless pit. It's being brought to earth by a fallen angel that is cast, this is supposed to be Lucifer, cast from heaven. And he gives the key to the bottomless pit to mankind, and they turn the key to the bottomless pit. But it's never been defined before. I've talked to a number of people, a number of scholars, and they said, no, we don't really have a definition as to what the key really is. I believe that I'm providing that definition, that it is a mathematical algorithm that once it is cracked, it provides the instructions for opening the bottomless pit. I gave this number, as I said, to Tim and Chris. They came up with some new information. It's related to Shiva, the statue, the god of destruction. 4096 translates to Shiva. It also translates to the Hindu god Ganesh. Ganesh is pictured as a body that has the head of an elephant.
Right.
Okay? Ganesh also means Shiva. These are three things that are related to one another, if you will, a triangle or a trinity. 4096 mathematically, and Shiva and Ganesh. Ganesh has to do with research and intelligence and communications, and Shiva has to do with destruction, wiping clean the slate, and then rebuilding the entire universe. Shiva represents a three-step process, not just destruction. Ganesh has to do with what they're actually doing with obtaining information from the other side, and then what they do with that information. So again, we go back to the spiritual. They are practicing rituals. They are practicing communication with spirits at CERN. And it is literally in our face. This isn't me making this up. This is born out of the research. And by the way, the symbol for CERN, it is 666. So I'll let you jump in there, Richie.